Hey Scott, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I brought in the plan, and you can kind of see that the original one there, the 26 by 36, is kind of floating underneath this plan here. So we're squeezing it down quite a bit. So there's a few things we got to make sure that work. I think one thing I found out that was the most difficult right off the bat was the stairs at the top of the landing. I don't think that's going to work for us. Do something here. Okay. So right at the top of the landing, let me do a couple sections. I think I've got one up here. In order to have enough at the top, we've got room, but we do not have room for 5 foot of to put that bathroom right at the top on this side. Let me get rid of this. Kind of shows some of the framing. I've got the attic trusses drawn in there, which I assume is how we would do it. Typically, when I used to do them, I would float in the stairs on one end is a great way to do that. The first truss ends a girder truss as a 2-ply, and then you would just ladder frame up and over the top. And also, the floor gets ladder framed up here in between the two. Excuse me. And over here, we'll have to talk to we got to find out for sure what you're looking at doing, but the span in between these two girders is limited by what we're going to be trying to do. And to put 12 there, that's a pretty big load to try to push across those girders, but maybe it's possible. All we're going to do is use the girders here to pick up our floor load, and you could possibly frame a wall back here up. If you just framed a higher wall, or actually rolled a joist all the way across this midsection, so you'd have a 12 foot by 12 foot by 26, that floor joists would sit on the plate lines. That way this would bear on the wall, and you may not want to do it, but let me grab a 3D of the outside of this thing. I mean, right now we've got a 12-12 with a 6-12. I've got a 9-foot floor the first floor, a 9 foot the second. Let me see. I'm going to pull up the layout real quick. Okay. So if we go back to here, I'll just buzz through this real quick. I've just got a 3D rendering the lot that we'll start working on. And basically, I put the bathroom on this side because the stairs are over here. Excuse me. There's not enough room up there at the top, so we'll work with that. I just tossed in the windows just to have windows. Let me get that down here. Sorry about that. And then we've got basically, I dropped the windows in just at random. I don't know really what we're going to want there. That goes to say with this. So I do have a 12 foot. Now, if we put, I've done it before where if you rolled a section of flooring from this wall to this wall, and you have attic trusses on both sides, you'd roll the flooring, build your floor up on that wall, and then you could span a truss up to the peak and back down. So you'd have a 6-12 truss sitting on a wall here and a 6-12 truss, and it would come over to here. I know we're trying to do a single slope, but we're going to run into some problems with that attic truss, maybe. I mean, especially if we want a 12 foot. So I'll just buzz through a couple of these pages, shows a couple sections. We've got about 720 something in the garage. The boot room, I come out 12, and we're about 9.6 this way. The stairs fit in there fairly well. Typically, by doing this, if you don't try to put it in at the beginning here, usually I can get 2 stairs up, starter winders, and then bring this section of the stairs through that 4-foot well, and we'll see it in the 3D when we get to it. This gets us a landing at the top. And maybe it's possible you could put the toilet room in this, but it's still, no matter what, if you were to try to come out and go around it, it's difficult. And we'll do some 3Ds here in a second. If we did it where you put a girder truss, an attic truss here, and an attic truss here, Then I've done them where I put the bottom cord load of the floor, and you can float this whole thing across. And I mean, you could bring it all the way through, like I was saying, put a wall up here, and put regular trusses in there, and only have attics on the end. It just has to do really with what you want to do. Here's just kind of the profile of the attics. When I do this style, a single slope like that, a lot of times I would take this, and then I've done them where I did a parallel cord and I would slope it. I might be able to draw a line in there. Let's see. I would take and just slope a bottom cord underneath this, and you do a portion of this that would be a parallel cord like that, so that you'd have some webbing in this area to create the strength. Because if that come together without all that there, it would, you need that meat in the corner to make that truss work. The truss guys will figure this out too. We are dealing with a 9-foot ceiling in there, so excuse me. You can kind of see I've got the 9-foot first floor. The trusses, if we go with them, they're going to use a 2x10, likely a 9 1/4. That's what I used to always use. So you'll have a 9 1/4. You'll up your 9-foot, the 9 1/4, and then another 9-foot. So that puts our top plate up here at 19 feet. So that's kind of the envelope there. You can kind of see what I had. This is just some sectional cut throughs, square foot takeoff to get an idea where we're at. The doors, your windows. There'll be a basic electric when we get done with it. I don't typically do much with that. I call it a rough electrical. So let's take and do a quick 3D of it and finish this thing up. I hadn't even started with anything for the most part inside. I'll do a 3D now and glass. Let's look at that because we want to see kind of how I want to make sure I'm on the same page as you coming through around this corner here. So we've got this little room. Typically, you'll have a single truss here. You'll have a 2-ply truss on the other side of your stairs, and a ladder frame across that. Then you'll have standard trusses down to about here. And depending on what your system calls for, you might have a 2, 3-ply, maybe a 4-ply truss on each side, allowing you to pick up floor, wall, and roof load through that area, depending on how you want to deliver it. This is where I tuck the bathroom over and up on this. Rule of thumb on an attic truss, and they can break it a little bit, but just to go back to that real quick, we're 26 overall wide, and the way they do that, let's see, I closed the, there we go. Excuse me. Well, I got this doggone cough. It's pretty rough. So here, on the rule of thumb for the trusses, you'll see my construction lines here. Half the span, this is 26 foot, so half of it you'd get 13 foot in the middle. And so basically that's kind of what I'm looking at in the middle there. And the reason that is you need the other half to create the structure that holds the floor up. So if you had 13 foot in the middle, that's kind of where I'm basing this. The guys in the truss plant, they might be able to do it. They might be able to do a little bit more, but this is how I base it. Looks like I got to clean that up. It's checking the dimensions. I made it 13 foot because that's probably what they're going to have. That's what our limit's going to be. So typically what I would do is take and come down, and this might end up being a 3-ply, 2 or 3-ply on the outsides of this rim here. And that way, when you bring it to the inside, the guys will stack frame this wall here right on top of that 3-ply. So that 3-ply truss on both sides will carry the load of this wall on both sides. And then again, depending on how we do that inside, this truss here might come up and stretch over to that wall too. It would be a lot easier to, if this wall here was the same over there and you had just a standard 612 that came across, that would be pretty simple, but it does involve uh, bringing that floor system all the way through. And it seems like I remember doing these before when I was at the truss plant. I would put a box girder in between these two pieces here, and then that would load all of this quarter of that side onto this truss, would hang off of that box girder, and it put all the loads back to these two side trusses. So let's put this back into the standard view and we'll finish going through this. Okay. And this is, I didn't put any cabinets in there yet. I know this is where you were talking about doing the kitchen cabinets and whatnot. So I wanted to just kind of iron things out, make sure we're good to go. The other one had a stairs right here. Or I'm sorry, it had the toilet room right here, or the bathroom at the top. And I don't think we can do it. And, we could sometimes pack stuff into them sidewalls, but that's usually over here. This is in the structural part of the truss, and you can't get nothing in there. So I tried to work within the confines of that, and that's what we're dealing with. Let me go down here. With this particular application, we do have enough headroom right here, and I'm still trying to fit where these doors are. I haven't firmed them up there. I had a 3.0 door there. We've got this 3.0 door here. Then we've got the regular garage. I put, I think 2 9x8s here. Yeah, that's what I've got. So anyways, take a look at the paperwork, take a look at the elevations. If all this looks pretty good and this is something you're looking at doing, we'll get the details together, get me a deposit, and then I can start working on that facade, your gables, the Craftsman style reinforced gables. Again, that's nobody's going to do that except the contractor. Truss plant they don't even do anything for you on that. However, it might be something you would look at where they drop these first two trusses. If you have the supports, it won't make a difference. But when I was doing, they would do a drop gable so that they could run the ladder framing perpendicular over the top of the first two trusses, and it gave a lot more ability to float that out. So anyways, I hope that looks good, Scott. Sorry it took me so long. It did get kind of complex, but I think we're looking good. What's this look like here? I'll see if I can do the framing real quick. This is how I would do it. Bring that attic truss right out to the end and then frame the end wall right inside of that attic. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you on the flip side.